Our Sunday ticket on-field action is underway. Broncos and the Dragons get comfortable. It's a big afternoon and night right here.
On the attack, let's see if they can post some points.
Dragons in the numbers, man on man, man through, pass, marginal, Shibasaki goes over. Gutherson contests with the referee, says sir is forward. They've locked in the try. Walter's there. Reynolds will be the kicker. No, he won't. Out the back, man, brilliant. Man goes over for Brisbane. Snaffled that out of the air. Then a right foot stick. Cook now. And King Tongia's kick. Sloan has got the lead. Oh! Had the ball stripped out of his hands. Play on for man. For the moment, Brisbane back out beyond the 10.
Okay.
And now they'll get the bunker involved.
If they contest the ball and he somehow grabs the body of...
Jesse Arthurs makes a tackle in midair, which is illegal.
Oh, he scored
it anyway. He has scored anyway. Now, man, 4 tackles up. Baker. Good punch in the tackle there from Clemmer. Last play. Brisbane. Well, has he regained balance?
He loses.
Oh, they've taken the quick tap. No. Yes, allowed to. Well, Sutton, then the ball's come loose. Well, this is a dog's breakfast. What has just happened? So Jaden was offside on a quick tap. Now finds his way into the sin bin. Dragons with the ball. Little goes short. Cook does the 180. Back to Gutherson. Through the centre. They try with Stewart. Got it back to Gutherson! Gutho goes over for St George Illawarra. Brisbane, I don't know, playing with their game heads on here. High ball, Staggs got it. Pass back inside. Dragons come up with the ball, and Little can run. Little chased by Walters, chased by Mam. Gustad got away from Mam. Jacob Little, the 12-man Dragons hit the front. Unbelievable!
That's why they came into this match winning 1 of their last 5.
Back 30 to 30, and man goes through. Support left and right. Staggs on his way. Staggs on his way for Brisbane. Arthur's now back in field. Last tackle. Reynolds. He'll kick. Looking for Mariner. Batted back. Staggs for a double. No! Wants a quick play, the ball, planted it on the ground, allowed to continue. Gutherson over the advantage line. Leilua hands, Holmes with the ball, Flanagan inside, lost his footing with the line open. Gutherson kept alive, Little hit from behind, Sewer on to Sully, then on to Sloan. St George Illawarra use the full width, length, breadth of the field to score. Dragons have had 20 tackles inside that zone this afternoon. From the scrum, the veterans, Cook and Gutherson combine. 3.5 to go. Reynolds across, Carrigan with the ball, look out, man's ball, and Brisbane! A crack in the defence, you won't see bigger. Arthur scores in the corner. What a game this is!
And Reynolds!
Of course he kicks it. He could have done it with a blindfold on and a pair of thongs. 15 from the line. Reynolds finds Haas. Back through the centre. Payne Haas! Well, they stopped him and then loses the ball.
After the tackle is complete, there's ruck interference. The challenge is successful.
They're a bit
Last
short out
throw
the
of the
right.
race. Reynolds with the ball. Shot the Dragons. DeBellin comes up with a tackle that drives the nail into the Broncos.
Oh, wow!
The Dragons win.
Nudge, you must be frustrated with the second phase, second half efforts at the moment. Get to a good lead again and get one down.
It is, Dobber. Obviously frustrating. Yeah, we're hurting around that, but we've got to stay at the process of the path the boys are going. You know, we're a bit like a bit of a Jekyll and Hyde team, really. You know, we show such great stuff, and then we sort of go the other way. So when we find that consistency of what they're capable of doing, well, we know what they can do, but that's something that we all need to really have a good look at. Second half starts and things like that. Obviously, things that we're looking at, so we need to be better at that.
Can you put your finger on why it's happening, Madge? I know you obviously you said you're learning about your team, but have you got any ideas of why it happens?
I do, and I keep those with myself and the team. They're things that we need to show by what we do. At this present moment, we're not doing it. But we'll discuss that. We've got a bit of a break now. The boys have been going flat out for 10 weeks. We've had some really good moments throughout that 10 weeks. We've obviously also had moments like that. So building the consistency around what we're capable of doing is obviously what we'll chase over the next couple of weeks.
You certainly wouldn't be happy though, Madge, where the team's at the moment though, realistically. So
no one is, mate.
Is it defence? Because your attack looked a lot better today, with Ezra coming back in and...
we defended pretty well in the first half too. They went after us in the first half and we defended well. It's just being able to do that consistently. And I thought Ez came in and did a great job for us. He's a bit of a shining light, I suppose, amongst something that's disappointing. We all set out to win this game, like every game. One thing I do know about the competition, there's a long way to go. Yep. We'll have a break now. We'll have a good look at where we're at and go from there.
Renaud, what did you think, mate? I mean, it looked like there was moments in it that were really good, and then you didn't get the biscuits at the end.
Summed it up perfect. Good in patches, poor in patches. It's just about trying to find that consistency, like Madge says. Get back to training, work hard, take the positives in what we can, and learn from obviously the down patches in the game.
Adam, given that you worked so hard in the pre-season, were very fit and we all saw the sessions, do you think these second half fade-outs are more mental than physical? Like, could the team was...
No.
What do you put it down to?
No, it's just concentration. We're just not getting it right at the moment. There's little areas in the game where, we're just not good enough. We're not sticking to the game plan. We're coming up with some poor errors and ill discipline, and when you do that, you invite teams into it, they get a bit of a sniff, and then they're hard to contain. But we need to be better consistently for 80 minutes.
Madge, you've been very loyal to a lot of these players. Is it time you're starting to look at personnel changes maybe after this bye with like Takura and Moser? They're in your squad, but we haven't seen.
No, as I said, I'll assess where we're at now. We're at a bye and 10 weeks in. It gives me a good look at where we're all at. So we'll look at everything.
Did this week have an effect, do you think, on the playing group? And I understand, you guys are very united, your captain's run was very good, but just the outside stuff that was going on with Marty and stuff, did that have an effect, do you think, at all today?
Dobbo, this club, like you've shared with me prior to me even coming here, there's plenty of those things going on around the environment. So being able to handle those things plays a part, but we also got a job to do. That's one thing the players are very aware of, and they're focused towards what we wanted to do today. First half we showed really good signs, even at the back end of the game, which you were alluding to before, and we had a chance to win it at the back end of the game. We needed to be better in those patches because we were coming home. So it shows where the team can be. It's about chasing that all the time now.
We've got Origin coming up. We saw Pat Carrigan with blood spitting out of his jaw area, and then Selwyn Cobbo with his wrist.
They're okay. Paddy just had a bit of a split in his mouth. He's been playing tough for us, hasn't he? And there's a lot of players within the team that have been doing that for us. And if we find our consistency of what we know we can do, that's what we're going to chase, obviously, after the bye. There's a lot of positives around. People want to win. We all want to win. I'm one of them. But the signs that I see within the team, as you alluded to before, the back end of the game, we're flying home. We just got to be able to be a little bit sharper in those times, and we'll find who we are.
Madge, what do you think of the way the team's sort of constructing their sets at the moment? They seem to look to be wanting to shift the ball a lot, not put back-to-back sets together. Would you agree
Well,
with
there's
that?
times in the game where you're going to actually do that, because we actually capitalised when we did that. There's times when you do and don't do that, how the defensive line presents itself. We actually made some really good sets coming out of our yardage when we did actually have a bit of a shift. We've also got the ability to play through the middle. So, it's a style of game which we're talking about all the time.
Are they following your instructions out there, do you think?
Yeah, they are. Yep. At times, we can all be better. because you've obviously got an opposition that's trying to break you down too. So there are things now with Ezra coming back in, and I thought Ezra was really good. He's worked really hard to put himself in that. He came up with a couple of try assists, I think, and set up some, plenty of play for us. That combination will grow again with Renault, and so I saw some really positives out of that, albeit we didn't get the result. That's worrying.
Renault, Ezra, he was booed at the start, about 20 minutes in, they were cheering him. How do you sort of think he handled that side of the game?
I didn't hear any boos. I heard a lot of cheering. Our fans are fantastic, they welcomed him back. Just a couple of times come up with some big plays, went back to the corner, and I don't think I've heard the crowd that loud.
Well, I thought that was actually, he's obviously been through a bit, but I could actually hear the cheers coming through the glass. So it just goes to show what Ez has done for the place, and everyone remembering that, and getting behind him.
Selwyn done enough to be in the Origin side, in your opinion, Madge?
It's not up to me there, Dobbo. Look, what do you think? Would he do well at Origin? Yeah, he's done it before. Yeah. Yep.
This season we're close. It's good to be on the other side today in the team that gets up. They played very well in that second half.
Yeah, I was saying to myself, surely this can't happen to us again, there must be some sort of football god out there that in the last couple of minutes we just put ourselves under an enormous amount of pressure, and great spirit, great club spirit, great team spirit got us home.
Gutho enormous today. There's a lot of very good players, but when the game's on the line, he seems to want to win it.
Yeah, well, with him and Damien coming to the club, probably the first bit about the character that we got was about how hard they compete. We wanted competitors, and they didn't have to be the best in their position. They just need to be competitors, and that rubs off on some of our. We've got a young crew at the moment, a real young crew, and that's rubbing off on them.
Cookie, Jacob coming on as well at the same time with you, it was a bit of a masterstroke by the coach in the sense that he went to another level as well, and his football this year has been unbelievable, which is part of the reason you're there grooming him as well.
He's been outstanding, and doing that job off the bench, the impact, and knowing when to find a try at the right time as well. For him to pick up that ball and run the distance at probably a time when we're under a little bit of pressure, he's done that a few times this year, and just he's got a great running game and really doing a good job of bringing that impact off the bench. Well done to him.
It was a good try, wasn't it? He picked up, he had to do a bit of work off the ground as well, and then one-on-one he put a goose step on Ezra in the end and got through.
Yeah, I remember going back at Leichhardt Oval years ago, and he ran the length of the field as a hooker, and we always knew he's got, that's his speed, and long distance speed, he can hold it. But Cookie needs a bit of praise there as well. They've been a real 1-2 punch. Cookie has to change his role there. And as I said, it's probably a strength of ours that we can have, two hookers of their quality, and then also have them on at the same time and not lose anything.
Just that about the side. They put 12 points on when you have 12 men on the field. It's normally unheard of. You might have been concerned when Jaden went to the bin.
Yeah, I was. It was a really important time. It doesn't happen too often. But that's it. Once again, to show a character that they went after it. And I thought we went after it a fair bit. I thought the first one of their tries was a full pass. We're not talking about decisions, but that was a full pass. And then they scored a try off the last tackle play. So we needed to be confident at half time, and I thought we were, even though that we were down. So showed some really good signs, because we have been in some dark places.
Dylan Egan, how's he going? Look bad. Is that the assessment from the medicals? Look,
I just touch wood that I've seen this before in previous. I remember Gal did one round one of 1 year, and he got back home and had some scans, and it wasn't an ACL, but first signs are that it looks like that. But we just hope that it's not. He's such a good kid, such an important part of our team moving forward. Let's just hope.
How hard's it been? 12-point turnaround in Magic Round, dropping the ball over the line, then field goal last week. How hard has it been for them? You talk about our young side. It's a confidence thing, and you got Cookie and Gutho and those guys who have been through it, Val, but to try and keep the spirits up, try and keep them confident that they can play that kind of footy here.
Yeah, you're right, Dobbo. It's winning is contagious, and losing becomes a habit. And you can compete really hard, but just to find that last little bit, whatever it's a percentage or whatever it may be, in this competition is so important. And we competed really hard all year. But we just haven't found that last little bit. A couple of times when we've been 3 games by 1 point. But tonight we found a way, and we found that competitive edge, and we found a way to fight right to the end. And I'm so proud of them. As I said, had 16 men for most of the game. So they fought really hard and away from home. And, the opposition have got a fair bit to play for. And, I just said to our boys that, they've got some quality stuff. They've got superstars in their team, and we just went out and beat them.
How's your head?
Pardon, sorry?
How's your head? Come on,
yeah, no, I'm right. It was obviously the independent doctor took me off there at the end, but it was a solid sort of head clash in there. But I felt like I was with it the whole time. But it's good that they're looking out for us there and take us off when they need to.
We go into a bye, so he gets a fair bit of time to recover, the old boy.
Who's the only bloke staying up, Val? Who's the only one who'll stay back?
Yeah, Val will stay back. I thought Jaden Searle was outstanding. Yeah, he was great tonight. His contribution, even though he did get 10 minutes, I thought that was it was a turning point in the game. The decision, I didn't think it was the right decision, but it ended up being a really good one for us because we scored 2 tries. So you just never know, do you? Thank you.